Hare Krishna everyone. I'm Srujan and I'm going to be talking about the current situation. As we all know, the coronavirus has been spreading, and because of that we've had to stay inside, protect ourselves and just live on these basic things. For example, we just need food, shelter and exercise. Before, we used to do all sorts of things. Back then, a few months ago, we were outside playing with our friends, talking to them, or as adults we would be going to parties, going to work. Well, now we're just all inside. We all have time, but we're all suffering in a way. As we all know, there's people in hospitals who are suffering, and people indoors who are also suffering with the coronavirus. But there's also people who are suffering of mental anxiety, mental suffering. So everyone's suffering in a bit of a way, because everyone has this fear towards this new thing. We've never understood this, but you can understand where it has come from, how it has happened. Because if you look at the past, you would know that similar cases have occurred before. For example, the mad cow disease, the other pandemics and plagues have happened quite a long time ago, and quite close to this time. We just never thought about it. We've always just left it and continued thinking of modernization. Well, we know where, the reason it's here, but why is it here? Actually, why did God force it on us? There must be a reason, right? And I usually tend to think that the reason is because Krishna wanted us to have time. We've now, because we're in our houses, we don't have much to do. Krishna, well, we have a lot of time for other things that we don't usually focus on. For example, spiritual activity, chanting, reading the books of Prabhupada, and all sorts of things. Maybe going into competitions and things like that. Before, we'd never be able to do that. So that's what my reasoning is about this. However, there should be a solution to this. So if I was the president or prime minister of the UK, the first thing I would do is introduce the books of Prabhupada, which will really, it would give the young students an idea of true guidance, a realization, a self-realization of what a human should be. It really, the Vedic knowledge that has been here on earth for thousands of years, there's a reason for it, of course. If you read it, you would know that the books are there for self-realization, and it would help you, would guide you. So it would not only help the people suffering from the coronavirus, people who are also suffering from mental anxiety and disorders, and it will help everyone in a way. Chanting would also benefit, and also moving towards a path where industrialization and modernization is not on everyone's mind. For example, if we look at cities like New Delhi or China's big cities like Beijing, we would know that there's so much pollution, especially in America nowadays. There's just so much pollution everywhere. It's just grey. Well, in the UK it's quite grey usually, but if we just think back, we would know that industrialization, modernization wasn't a thing, and people used to just live on these basic needs. For example, food, shelter and exercise. That's what everyone needs, right? Our homes are shelter. Food, you can just get it from the shops now. And exercise, there's lots of ways. You can have treadmills indoors, you can just go out for a jog. But now, that's literally all we're doing, other than spiritual activities. Before, we used to do all sorts of things. Remember that? So, how can Prabhupada's books help us? How can it, what's the benefit of reading it? Well, it really just, it builds up this confidence in you. it builds up this faith, this belief. It shows you the truth behind the world, the reason why this is happening, and what we can do about it. With this knowledge, our students, the next generation would be able to completely get rid of unnecessary things, which are just there for sense gratification. Sense stimulation is another word for it. Like, for example, meat consumption, seafood consumption, and other things similar to that. Because they're not necessary for us. And it's a sin. For example, meat consumption it's a sin. You shouldn't be consuming meat, but people still do it for satisfaction of senses, which is temporary and not necessary. However, if we focus on Prabhupada's books, like I've mentioned, this temporary sense stimulation, it will be permanent, to be honest. You'll realize something, you'll be happy with it, and you'll probably live on. Your soul, it would be finally quite confident. It will be enlightened by this work of Prabhupada's. He's taken this time to show us that the books that we have in our homes, usually, we don't really pick them up that much. But when we pick them up, read them, what do you feel? You usually feel, wow, that was amazing. Really taught me something there. I should do it every time. It gives you this confidence that we all need. And because of that, reading Prabhupada's books, chanting, and other things for spiritual activities would help us create a path. It will help us move towards Krishna. It will help us go back to Godhead. So that's why I think if I was ever going to be a Prime Minister, I would introduce that first thing, so that everyone would start to realize why the Prabhupada books are there and what are their benefits. So, thank you for watching this video. Rather than focusing on industrialization, modernization, there's all sorts of ways that we can get our food, rather than just focusing on stimulating your senses and getting a healthy diet. You can do this by organic farming, and you can also read Prabhupada's books. These books, obviously we know that they have knowledge, but this knowledge will help children understand what the consequences are of their actions, and slowly and steadily the slaughterhouses that will be everywhere, they will be shut down, and cow protection will be enrolled everywhere, because that is all we need. Do most of you think about why or how the coronavirus is ever, just how did it occur? Well, you have to look at other diseases back in the past, for example, mad cow disease and some other epidemics and plagues, and you realize that they're actually quite similar. The reasoning of the coronavirus can be deducted to tell you that it's very similar to the fact that it relates to slaughterhouses, it's relating to animals and abuse to animals. One relation to this can be found when meat consumption. It's something that not many people think about. It's just there as taste stimulation in the majority of people's food in the UK, for an example. But really, it shouldn't be there. Of course, meat consumption, yes, it's the animal slaughtery, but it's also the fact that animals have emotions as well. And, well, meat consumption, it's an extra thing. You don't actually need it. For example, you can live on a healthy diet with nuts, berries, pulses, and veg, as well as fruit. You don't need meat. You don't need to eat it, meat or seafood. So why do people do it? As I mentioned before, people usually do it because of it's an extra thing, and people usually do it because they want to get stimulated. They want to be satisfied from eating it. They want to satisfy their senses. The question still remains: how do Prabhupada's books benefit us. With the introduction of Prabhupada's books into the school curriculums and university curriculums, Prabhupada's books will show, as we all know, they contain lots of Vedic knowledge and the answers to everything in life. Students will finally realize the consequences of their actions, and because of this, there will be a complete reduction in meat consumption, closing all slaughterhouses. There will be lower chances of epidemics occurring. With the balance in nature and in the biocycle, humans will also be guided with a balanced life with the guidance of the books from Prabhupada. People suffering from mental anxiety and mental illnesses will learn from the Prabhupada books that the best cure to their illness is the recitation and chanting of meditation, and the best meditation is chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.